morning, Daniel. And happy birthday to former president.
Yes.
John Mahama.
When you play the song, we are expecting.
When we play the song, we'll do the birthday proper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Accolade at that point.
Wait.
What was that?
I don't understand. But you let me say happy birthday to Sam Kweku Pepra of Standard Chartered Bank. I come from your friends Mariam, Albert, and your colleagues at Standard Chartered, wishing you a fantastic day. Guys, let's look at the front pages this morning.
Now, let me start with today. It is reporting this morning, new regions coming as Supreme Court throws out suit and Navy saves nation 1 billion Ghana cedis. Konedu breaks silence on Rawlings's coup d'etat. There's also another one about leading aspirants killed NDC's 2016 quest to continue in government.
On the front page of the Chronicle, massive jobs on rail. UMAT develops courses for railway job seekers. Collins Dowda's brother Notamedra, that's according to the Moshi chief. JB Dankwa remembered at Chebi. That's the front page of the Chronicle.
The Ghanaian Times is reporting this morning, develop single SIM card for all mobile money wallets. This is according to the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Mahmoud Ubamia. And there's also one about government constructing 10 coastal harbor fishing harbors next year. And also there's a story about exam malpractices. Now 3,479 face WAEC to assist in investigations. Yes, assist in investigations. And AU tougher regime on non-payment of dues to address financial woes. Those are the stories being presented on the front page of the Ghanaian Times today.
On the front page of the Daily Statesman, Akufo-Addo commissions Dankwa Memorial Center. Has NDC scrapped the Rawlings factor? New regions saboteurs lose, and it's my time, to lead the NDC. That's according to Ecospio Gabra. The
Daily Guide is reporting this morning. Let's document our stories. Konedu there and MPP Mons Ajako, I also West constituencies MP who died recently. Now, Supreme Court case 6 regions in 7-0 unanimous ruling, and striking teachers cry over pay. If you don't give us our pay, no conversation.
On the front page of the Business Finder, $235 million for 10 landing sites, coastal towns in Central, Volta, Western, and Greater Accra to benefit, and mobile money, no more constraints in transactions across platforms. That's that same story about mobile interoperability, and that's from Dr. Mahamudu Baumia.
Now, the Daily Heritage is reporting this morning that particular 6-region creation stories on the front page. Kolebu and others sued by interdicted directors, and Miss Universe Ghana 2018 receives gift from ex-president Rawlings. There's also another one you should be interested in. Think like record breakers. Spio charges NDC members in his iconic pose with the hand moving in one direction. It looks like Nkrumah's forward ever pose,
Pose, yeah, it does kind of look like that.
There's one that's very sad on the front page of the Daily Heritage too. E. coli found in water from wells and others. This is the Ghana Statistical Service, and that's from the multi-indicator cluster survey. I'll give you details of that later on.
Okay, and finally from me on the back page of the Daily Graphic, work on Kojo-Krom Takwa rail line nears completion. GRA seizes liquor without tax stamps from hotel. On the front page of the Daily Graphic, there's that story about the inauguration of the JB Dankwa Memorial Center. Also, Supreme Court dismisses suit. Only voters in proposed regions will vote in referendum. An interesting one, tin no longer prerequisite for business registration, and that story we brought yesterday about the cryptocurrency guys who had disappeared. Well, Iyoko has found them apparently and has grilled them over 135 million Ghana CD customers cash.
That's some good news right there.
The Independent is the very last paper before me, and it says fallout from love of money and power. Human parts on sale. This is in Brunalfo, and I'll give you the details later on. But the other stories: University Council replies, dismiss VC's lawyer, says they are persona non grata. This is still the EW ongoing saga. There is also one: Nana Konedu disowns Rawlings over coup plots. Then Supreme Court throwing out the suit against the referendum. It's also on the front page of the paper. So these ones are making the headlines this morning.
Human parts on sale.
Yes. Now the Independent has been carrying out some research. It's because of the plethora of reports in the country about people being dead and parts taken from them when the body was later on found. Now, it has realized that in the Brunalfo region, in the last 4 months alone, we can count 50 individuals who actually have been killed under very bizarre circumstances and body parts taken away. What they traced, and they left out important details like specific areas, names of the people involved, because they say they've submitted the details to the police for them to carry out the continuation of the investigation. What they realized was that there's a clique. The clique made up of some criminals and an occult group here in Ghana, in the Borno region, whose sole motive is to set up in some specific communities, kill people in these communities, then dump them elsewhere, then take the body parts required. So, for example, if they go to Tetiman, they will kill like 5 people. They will not dump them in Tetiman. They will go to somewhere like in Kwanzaa and go and leave the bodies there, so that they take the parts that they want, and mostly they will leave our parts that are not relevant for their activities. It's unclear what they use the body parts for, but some of the people they actually decided to act like they were people who were interested in buying them. So they sell to people who are engaged in some form of occultic engagements, and the requirement from some traditional priests who demand that I want to help you get money or something. So you need this to make sure that that happens. They're saying that there are security officials, big men. Some of them have been arrested before, so about 6 of them have been arrested in the course of last year. They all released along the line because they've garnered enough resources and have so much money that they can influence security from police to even a military team that's attached to police at certain junctions who are inspecting traffic and all of that.
So this is what the Independent is saying, that these security officials who were caught are actually culpable but were released because of the inducements that they provided.
No, the security officials are the individuals who are involved.
Okay.
Some of them have been caught before. When it happens, then the security officials, big men in the police and also the military, come to their aid. When they come to their aid, they will get them out of cells, and the issue never goes anywhere. Now, the residents have also been speaking to this group. The group that was, in fact, they got one of their own to be part of the, what they call it, the occult group. And sometimes they make demands on you for the purchase of the body parts in this case. In fact, the paper has extremely bizarre narration of how the people go through the process, how you finally get the body parts and what they use it for, and which parts. In fact, that's the information they left out, the specific areas. Which parts of the country receive them? The Borno region is where the sale is happening. The people who are sold are sometimes from other regions too. Again, where the body parts end up are also not only in the Borno region.
Okay, there are a few more details I would have loved to hear, but this story is it's quite uncomfortable to listen to. But I think it goes really to the fact that if we know so much about what is going on, why hasn't there been a major crackdown by security officials? And again, it comes to how we engage with the police generally. What amount of trust do citizens have in police after we hear stories like this? I think that's really the heart of the conversation we are trying to have today with that Hotline documentary. How we can build trust between citizenry and police, and how abuses on individuals makes that very difficult. And so we are going to talk about that a bit. Again, we are asking if you have any such experience. You've not, knowing about harvesting of body parts, but if you've been abused, by the police in the past, or you know someone who has been, or you've been treated well by them on the flip side, let us know on 0244 340437 at Joy997 FM on Twitter, Joy99.7 FM on Facebook. The hashtag is JoySMS. Anymore, let's move to something easier to hear. TIN is
TIN
no
numbers.
longer a prerequisite.
Yes. So there's been a lot of talk about TIN numbers, but if you're going to register a new business at the Registrar General's office, you do not need to have a TIN number to do that. The reason is that from 2019, apparently, the GRA, the Social Security, the SNIT, and the MMDAs will all be fused together. And so as soon as you register, everything will be linked, and that would be easy. In the meantime, though, foreigners are required to get their TIN numbers to be able to register their businesses. So just life made easier for us on a certain level when it comes to that. But Raymond was talking about how there had been a problem with the automatic generation of the TIN number.
You know, this was one of the promises that was made. In fact, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was very clear in his mind that the process where people had to go through different processes, go to the GRA, go to these other people for papers and all of that, we sought to do registration, automatic registration on the GRA's, on the Registrar General's website. It also required that they would do automatic generation of the tax identification number. That became very problematic. For a very long time, people were not able to generate the tax identification number on the website of the Registrar General. So the back and forth was still happening.
Yeah.
What government then said was that, don't worry, we are going to revamp the system in a way that you can use when you go to register general. Immediately you register, you will get the tin. Because really, of what use is getting a tin when you
haven't registered yet?
For a business that you may register in the next 10, 15 or 20 years going into the future. So the plan is that the two of them should come together so that it becomes easier. You do recall that ease of doing business, one of the places that they look at is ease of registering business.
Exactly.
And how long it takes you to do that. We were in some countries, you can register a business in 3 hours. Others is 1 week, 2 weeks. Here, the average was deemed to be like 3 months. The bureaucracy was needlessly high. It was going to be compounding the problems on the ground. So this is to say, don't worry, we promise that. But we are going to fix the system for you. Then when it's all said and done, you can easily get your tin through the online platforms which have been matched from GRA and the Registrar General's office.
It sounds good. I'm coming back to you, Raymond, for you to tell us about E. coli found in water. But before that, Renee Akoafedo has been watching us on Facebook Live. Go on our Facebook page, Joy 99.7 FM, watch us live. She has a message for everyone. She says, good morning, a Boboli Bobo edition of the birthday to the ex-president. And then she says, Enimwa Etiseng. And then she says, Ray, our in-law. So the only person you left out, Renee, was myself.
But the text was to you.
It's not a text to me. These are comments on our Facebook Live.
Oh, right.
So go on our Facebook Live, leave comments, they will read them.
Hey, you've taken it personally.
Please,
on behalf of Renee, good morning, Daniel. How are you? You look very nice in your red tie this morning.
E. coli found in water.
Brilliant. I mean, E. coli, it has some interesting name, but it was actually one of those bacteria named after the person who put it together. And anymore, we're talking about the name Extrich, right? Theodore Extrich is the guy. He's the biologist who actually found E. coli. E. coli, most of it is not dangerous and actually has good uses too.
Yes,
we can use it for, there's a certain drug that they use in actually delaying or managing the condition, and this condition is cancer in this case. It's also being used in times past to, laboratory tools and clean other things too. The other good use of it is to make insulin for diabetics. So, but there are bad ones. Now, the research by the Ghana Statistical Service in the Ghana Multi-Indicator Cluster Survey, this is the 2017-2018 one. That particular research indicates clearly that if you take out 79% of Ghanaians, though we have basic drinking water. Now, out of this, it's interesting to know that E. coli, 8 out of all the 10 households that were surveyed, they had E. coli infection of the water that they used there. E. coli is predominant in tap water.
That's very disturbing.
And also in wells, yes.
Yeah.
So when they went to 10 houses, 8 out of them.
8 out of them.
So 80% of all of the households.
Oh, wow.
Had what they call E. coli infection. And how serious is E. coli infection? Sometimes you can't trace what happened to you when you got your diarrhea. Urinary tract, in fact, the urinary tract infections that do not end people in the, in the hospitals. The ones that are not venereal, the one that you don't do the thing to get. Yes. Most of them are caused by E. coli. Again, pneumonia and other upper tract infections are caused by E. coli. So it is a major threat to our public health and also our disease burden in the country.
Yes.
But to know that when we count, there's a tendency that, me, I don't have one in my house, but the tendency that me and
at least one of us,
you and Daniel may have E. coli infection because you've been consuming water from those sources is very, very high.
So what you're saying is that we should boil our water. If you're drinking tap water, boil it before you drink it.
Yes.
And I think
water as well.
And well water. The other thing that we take for granted is also, when you're brushing your teeth and you're rinsing, which you shouldn't be because it kind of when you're rinsing your mouth and you swallow, that's also one, because a lot of us will say, we don't drink tap water, but when you're actually doing that, in that process you're actually ingesting some water, so it might be a bit extreme.
But if you rinse your mouth and you don't swallow it, does that not cause any danger?
I'm not sure. Whether
we'll
it
have
will
to
be able
No,
to
sorry, but if it stays, it's longer in your mouth.
If it stays, then
it depends on the conditions in your mouth. When it creates the right condition for them,
so
it can thrive.
just boil your water. I mean, even what you use to rinse your mouth.
Yeah.
If to be on the safe side.
Yeah, or some people would just be safe and use sachet water.
Sachet, yeah.
So this is a threat to our statistics on improved water sources. Because we all thought that we were having more improved water sources. But if out of the 10 households surveyed across the country, 8 of them have this infection at
That's
home.
pretty
They live with it.
serious.
It causes most of their problems. We need to fix this as early as possible.
Okay. So let me come back to you anymore. But guys, it's TIN.
Yeah, we keep on
Tin.
saying tin number, and
Apologies,
it's actually
it's just
we're
tin.
really
The-
sorry.
the
It's tin.
Taxpayer
Yeah, I agree,
identification
can say that.
number.
Yes, if it's
Yeah,
worry us,
tin.
we won't say tin. We'll say the taxpayer identification
It's
number.
a long one.
Okay. Anymore, let's talk about mobile money interoperability.
Okay, yes. So the second phase of the mobile money interoperability has, and good morning, Sammy Forson, host of the Weekend City Show. The second phase has been launched. Now, what has happened is that the eSwitch payment system, the Ghana Link platform, and your mobile money wallet has been merged, and it was called the Financial Inclusion Triangle. But what's happening is that now you can move money across these three platforms. So life is very, very easy. We're looking forward to the next phase. That's the third phase. And what's going to happen there is that that's for the mobile money merchants. So if they have money on one network, they can't move money from that network. If you go to them and let's say you're MTN, if they have money on their Vodafone, they cannot give you that money from there. It has to be from their MTN networks. And so that's going to change, and that's going to become interoperable, so that regardless of where their money is floating, they will be able to access that and give it out. So it's really just making the whole mobile money transaction and payments to other platforms really easy. The Vice President is calling on us to adopt electronic payments as a way of life, because the world is moving forward, and that's what people are doing. We're moving to a more cashless society, and I guess on so many levels, it's also safer when you don't have physical cash on you.
I was actually speaking to a number of bank CEOs during the Young CEOs and SME Summit, and they were saying that one of the fast tracks to actually making sure that we get lower interest on loans, or we are able to get loans more, is being hooked onto platforms like this,
yeah.
using mobile money more often, and being able to send them across more often, because in that way you are easily tracked. So it's something to look out for, really. But I made a promise to some of our listeners that when you leave comments, we'll read them. So I'm going to do that very quickly. Tamaklo, Raphael, Andy, listening to us in the Volta region. Alex Osei, Silver Spring, MD. Abna Danswa, good morning. Yes, Maryland, thank you very much. Kweku Benning, good morning. Okay, in Raymond, I'm coming back to you now.
Yes, the Supreme Court of the Republic of Ghana yesterday threw out the case that was challenging the creation of new regions. Of course, we are at the time that we have to do the referendum. Then people will decide for themselves what they want to do with the regions. But first, people went to court, and there were so many of the cases filed, about 5 or so. They were filed for one simple reason. They insisted that, some basically wanted, if, for example, in the creation of the OT region, it should be the decision of the entire region, as in the entire Volta region currently existing, not just the areas affected by this. In fact, the Constitution makes some reference to areas affected, but the people wanted the interpretation to be that the areas affected includes the old region, which was going to have a part taken off. So don't just break it, let the people decide to. But government's plan, the commission, the Justice Bobe Commission, proceeded to make a very simple plan. They said only those who are supposed to be in the new OT region, so the Apafu area, so the Likpe area, and the areas that are at the voter north part, are the ones who will be voting for it. Of course, the other regions that ought to be created in the north of the region, in the Brown Afro region, also in the your own is called Western North, right?
The Western region, it will become Western North,
Yes,
and Western
north,
South.
yeah, the north, the Western North region.
So
yes.
I live in this future Western South region.
Okay. Now, so some of these regions are supposed to be created. The argument, according to the Supreme Court, and it's a very simple matter, they believe that they've been invited, and in their case, to get into a matter which was not necessary. They said that's an unnecessary invitation to this court. It is not supported by constitutional provisions or the jurisprudence of this court, and we invite your lordships to decline this invitation. That was the argument from the Deputy Attorney General against the people who actually they say their case was upheld. Now, people are asking a question.
So what that means is that the referendums can happen.
Yeah,
The
it can
referendum
happen.
Can happen.
Yes. You know the interesting part? Now, it is expected that a huge number of people in the area will vote. After that, 80% have to endorse the decision.
Yes, so 80% of those who vote will have to endorse the decision before the new regions are formed. But the online news review is where we go next. It's brought to you by Zenith Bank in your best interest, Coil Good Energy, and download the Safe Doctor app now from Google Play. Safe Doctor, the future of better medical care. Now, Josh Crying of Ofankor has received 1,000 cedis worth of fuel on his Go Card, on his Coil Go Card for the month of November, and a weekend hotel stay for 2. Many others, 720 others have received ultimate rewards from the CIMG Petroleum Company of the Year, GOIL, in their Efie promotion. You can also collect your scratch card anytime you buy GOIL fuel, 80 cedis and above. Dial *161 *4645 hash. Follow the prompt. Your loyalty rewards also await you at the end of the month if you buy more fuel and accrue more points. GOIL Efie promo runs till January 2019. GOIL Good Energy, GOIL Yenara Yedia. Congratulations to Zenith Bank, the best customer service bank in Ghana. They received the Excellence in Customer Service Award at the 2018 Ghana Business Awards. They've also won several notable customer service awards, both locally and internationally. So what you need to do is make that move to Zenith Bank today, because we care. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. MyJoyOnline.com says, I take the blame. Amewu apologizes to Ghanaians for 2-week power cuts. Energy debts huge, but not cause of intermittent outages. John Peter Amewu speaking there in PM Express. Ghana takes steps to establish one-stop center for abused persons. Other online stories, the BBC says Nigerian media launch anti-fake news site. A new polio vaccine doesn't need fridges. We're going to take the BBC News at 7 now. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
Ghana has always suffered from internet disruptions.